An intense battle is unfolding at the bottom of the Formula One's Constructors Championship. AlphaTauri's recent performance at the United States Grand Prix is putting pressure on Haas and Alfa Romeo. Yuki Tsunoda secured an 8th place finish in Austin, earning 5 crucial points for Alpha Tauri, bringing them closer to Haas, the second to last team. They are currently only 2 points behind Haas, raising the question, can Alpha Tauri make a comeback in the last 4 races? Today, the Grid Report brings you in-depth analysis of the bottom teams in F1 and the chances of either team finishing last. Well, before we get into it, kindly subscribe and like the channel, and without further ado, let's get talking. It was quite an interesting outing in Austin for the AlphaTauri team, who stood last in the Constructors Championship as they closed the gap to Haas, all thanks to the controversies that followed the conclusion of the race and the strategic brilliance of the AlphaTauri team. Yuki Tsunoda started P11 on the medium tyre and opted for the conventional 2-stop strategy that most of the field deployed. Having battled hard with the Aston Martin pair, he was promoted to P10 by Fernando Alonso's retirement, which gave the team an idea. The bonus point for the fastest lap is only awarded if you finish in the top 10. With Tsunoda having a large gap to chasing Alex Albon behind, the Williams man also had a time penalty to serve. AlphaTauri called Tsunoda in for some soft tyres on the penultimate lap. At first, I got a heart attack when the team called me into the box because I thought there was an issue, but they told me that we were going for the fastest lap on the soft tyre. It was my first experience going for the fastest lap in the final lap of the race, and I really enjoyed it. It was thrilling, he said afterward. The disqualification of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc then lifted Tsunoda to 8th place, meaning he netted 5 points. The Japanese driver recorded his best race of his and the team's season in Austin. But on the other side of the garage, there was disappointment for Daniel Ricciardo in his first race back since recovering from his hand injury. He was put on a one-stop strategy, but ran out of grip on the hard compound tyres and fell back through the field. The team pitted him late on, but there weren't enough laps left to recover any places, especially since he was carrying car damage. Texas hasn't been too kind, Ricciardo said. At the start, we were doing well with our plan, but the problem was once the cars with blue flags came up behind us, we lost too much. We seemed to struggle in traffic and then picked up some damage later on, so after that, we lacked pace. On the medium compound, we were doing the same lap times as Yuki Tsunoda, but because I was on a one-stop, there was a bit more tyre management going on for me. Team principal Franz Tost explained that the damage was to the front left brake duct, which affected the aerodynamics heavily, losing a lot of downforce. Ricciardo then couldn't perform well because the car was no longer balanced. Tost continued, I have to apologize to Daniel because of this car failure, which meant he couldn't show a better performance. I'm convinced in Mexico he will come back and hopefully the car will be reliable, allowing him to perform a strong qualifying and good race. The bold strategic move by the AlphaTauri team earned them massive points. Although Ricciardo's return wasn't a delightful one, it's obvious the team is focused and might go past Haas. Hülkenberg and Magnussen were both hoping for more performance as Haas brought new upgrades in Austin in bid to improve the pace of the VF23 but struggled throughout the weekend. Hülkenberg had a terrible qualifying but showed glimpses of improvement in the main race. Nico Hülkenberg believes points were possible at last weekend's United States Grand Prix had he qualified better after the Haas driver finished the race in 13th but gained 2 places thanks to Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc being disqualified. Asked if the car had felt better on Sunday compared to Saturday, Hülkenberg said, yeah, it did, definitely felt better, and I think the relative performance also looked a lot more promising, but obviously it came at a cost, at a price, starting from all the way back there. I feel that if we had a halfway decent qualifying and qualified somewhere in the middle, we might have been able to fight and challenge for points. His teammate Kevin Magnussen was then asked if he had got a better feel for the updates during the race compared to any other points in the Austin weekend. Magnussen replied, yeah, it did feel better today after having done the changes. Putting more downforce on was definitely a better setup, but still not enough. Although clear signs of improvement weren't evident, could the Haas car's upgrades in Austin and the bold strategic moves by Alpha Tauri aid either team into overtaking the struggling Alfa Romeo? Zhou Guanyu admits that AlphaTauri just did not have the pace to score points in Austin, regardless of what they chose to do with his strategy, while Valtteri Bottas believes the track layout may have compromised his team this weekend. Zhou made a solid start, as he was running in 11th for much of his first stint, while he was called into the pits to swap his mediums for some hard tyres. However, the Chinese racer admits this stop, which came on lap 9, may have been too early. Reflecting on his race, where he finished 15th but gained 2 places after the disqualifications, Zhou said, was very tricky. In general, just lack of pace. I was together with the AlphaTauris, and then we pitted for hards, which I think was a little too early. But then the pace was just not there, so I think whatever we did with the strategy, it would not have made a difference in the end, with the lack of pace on high fuel. Unfortunately, it was a tricky day. Asked if he was surprised by the lack of pace, Zhou added, "The last few race weekends, it's been the opposite. In those weekends, we seem to have a stronger race car." His teammate Valtteri Bottas started just behind Zhou in 13th, but lost a couple of places at the start. The Finn could not make his way through the field, even after Zhou let him through, taking the checkered flag in P14 before gaining 2 places at the end. "Was lacking pace today for sure," said Bottas. "Just seemed to be where we finished is where we are. I think strategy-wise, we did the right thing. We had a good selection of tyres as well, just ultimately lacking pace this weekend." The question has to be asked, is it poor strategy or simply just a lack of pace of the cars that's wrong with Alfa Romeo? Regardless of your perspective, one thing is clear. There is chaos within the team. With just 4 races left, would we be seeing a change of positions at the bottom of the F1 Constructors Championship? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest F1 news. Until next time, goodbye.